Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I'm excited. We've got in for review a brand new subwoofer from HSU Research. This is the VTF-TN1. Now this replaces a previous subwoofer that I reviewed here on the channel a while back. That was the VTF-15H Mark II. Now I've got both of these subwoofers still here in my home, and so we'll be doing some videos later on comparing the two. We'll take some measurements, but for now we're just going to do an unboxing and overview here in this video. So in this video we'll take a look at the packaging as well as the actual subwoofer itself, get some overall impressions, take a look at the rear of the sub to see what options we have on the plate amp, and then we'll dive into the specs as well. Now before we do that, I want to share with you some exciting news from our channel sponsor, Arendal Sound. Arendal Sound is preparing to launch their new 1528 series. Arendal says the name 1528 holds a special place in our hearts. It references the year that Arendal was first mentioned in historical records as Arendelle, a name that inspired the magical kingdom in Frozen. We don't have much information other than they will be bigger, better, and more luxurious than anything Arendal Sound has created to date. I'm looking forward to experiencing the new 1528 series here on the Youthman channel. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this. So HSU Research is one of those brands that, man, they just offer a lot of bang for the buck. I believe that their subwoofers and speakers are super affordable. They measure really well, provide great output. I haven't reviewed or heard any of their speakers yet, but their subwoofers are absolutely fantastic, at least the one that I reviewed here on the channel not too long ago. So with these, they're gonna have some staples in them, make it a little bit harder to get open. And hopefully we won't be stepping on those in the near future. All right, so let's look on the inside here. Now this is interesting. So these have some metal corners. Very nice touch. So these are just going to help protect the corners. I like that they used little metal ones instead of cardboard. So that's really, really cool. Never seen a company do that, so that's super cool. And of course we got some really thick foam to protect the subwoofer during transit. Actually, we're going to put this right back on here because this will make it easy to unbox. Flip it upside down, and this is going to be the black satin finish. And here we can see we've got some cardboard corners here. So on the bottom of the subwoofer we've got just some instructions here. Lay that off to the side. Got a little box here. This is going to be our power cable. We got a 2-prong IEC power cable. And then we've got the HSU base test CD that we showed and shared in the previous video. So not a super heavy subwoofer. I'll post the specs up here in just a minute when we look at that, but definitely easy to move around by yourself. All right, we'll go ahead and just remove that. I like how they tape the sides of that. That'll make it easy when we ship it back. All right, we'll go ahead and remove this plastic. All right, there we go. Let's turn this around so you can see that too. I'm gonna put on the gloves. This will keep me from getting fingerprints all over this beautiful finish, man. I love this. It's got round corners. Like I said, it's not a very heavy subwoofer, so it might not be a ton of bracing in there, but got a big grill on the front, and as you can tell, got a lot of excursion on this joker. We've got a different form factor because this is a much taller subwoofer than you typically see. And let's go ahead and turn it on its side. So I can show you down here, we've got 2 port plugs. So you can run them sealed or ported, depending on how you want them tuned. Now this grill is not magnetic, it just has these little pegs. So for now, we'll go ahead and put that back on. Looking at the rear of the VTF-TN1 subwoofer, we've got balanced XLR inputs as well as unbalanced RCA inputs. Got our volume knob, phase control 0 or 180 degrees. We also have the operating mode. You can either have it as EQ1, which is with one port open, or EQ2, which is 2 ports open. I'll have to check the manual to see which one they recommend if you're running in sealed. It may not matter. To the right of that, we've got our Q control as well as crossover frequency, and that goes from 30 hertz all the way up to 120 hertz. To the right of that, we've got a toggle switch to determine whether or not you want to use the internal crossover built into the plate amp or if you want to bypass that. And so you would set that to out if you're going to be using the AVR or your processors crossover for your speakers and subwoofer, or if you want to use the internal, you would set that to in. I always turn this off on the plate amp and use the processors crossover. And over to the right, we can either set it to always be on, turn it all the way off, or in the middle would be set to auto, and that just waits until it senses a signal from your AVR or processor, and that turns it on and off. In the middle, we have a large heat sink to help dissipate heat. And then down here, we've got our fuse as well as our power port. So looking at the specs, the VTF-TN1 has a 600 watt continuous amplifier. It has a frequency response down to 14 hertz if you choose to set it to 1 port open. If you set it to 2 ports open, it'll extend down to 18 hertz. If you run it in sealed mode, you'll extend down to about 20 hertz. On the front, we have a front-firing 15-inch woofer. The TN1 measures 32 inches high by 18.5 inches wide and 20.5 inches deep and weighs just 85 pounds. The MSRP is $11.99, and it has a 7-year warranty on the woofer and a 5-year warranty on the electronics. Now, I'm 5'11", so that gives you some perspective on how tall this subwoofer is. So the thought process behind making a taller and more slimmer subwoofer is it's a smaller footprint, but also you can actually have a bookshelf speaker planted on top of this subwoofer. And so it almost acts as a speaker stand, so that could save you some money there. Now, if the subwoofer is too tall, you could definitely lay it on its side and use it maybe as an end table, but I'd definitely put down some kind of cloth on top of it just to protect the finish. Now, the TN1 is their flagship subwoofer, so this will have more output and lower end extension than the other subwoofers in the Shoe Research line. Now, in the future video, I'll be taking measurements of both the TN1 and comparing that to its predecessor, the VTF-15H Mark II subwoofer. Now, I'll be sharing more videos on the TN1 here in the near future, so make sure you're subscribed. And as always, hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless, and we will catch you in the next video.